are now tuned in to DAR Sports Media, and it is a big week. You know, we usually don't do this, but the we don't usually do like a straight draft review. We usually wait and we'll do an overall offseason grade that includes the draft, which we will still do coming up pretty soon in the next couple of weeks for every team, for every division. Just who we like, who had the best combined offseason between free agency, coaching, and draft additions. But possibly one of the biggest draft stories of all time, Sheduer Sanders, who we, like everyone else, have talked about for months, being, mocking him in the top 10, this, that, the third. Not just, and it's funny, man, I went back and listened to some pods that were like being recorded as it went, and you go back and look at the tweets that people were making on night one and all the rationalizing people were doing, and it's not really that big of a deal if he goes to the second round and this and that. And all these people were making up all these fucking excuses. And, well, his tape, he was really like a second to third round talent. That's the reason. It's funny to look at that from that night with those people not realizing that this was going to end up getting as insane as it did, with him going all the way to the fifth round. The fifth round. I believe he was picked. It was something like 150 something, 160 something. So I guess we could start 144. There. 144. So I guess we could start there. With people trying to rationalize. I saw, we some members of this podcast, not going to name any names, maybe use the phrase generational a little bit more than it is warranted. Maybe overuse the phrase generational. But there was generational gaslighting going on during that fucking weekend when people were trying to say, well, this was a creation, and the scouts and the coaches, once they got a hold of the tape, it really wasn't. Bro, fifth round? Fifth round?
Right.
And it's not even just so much that he's in the fifth. It's the quarterbacks that got taken ahead of him. I'm sorry. There is no planet. There is no fucking universe. There is no alternate fucking dimension where Jalen Milroe and Dillon Gabriel are better quarterback prospects than Sheduer Sanders is. It just doesn't fucking exist. It's just not correct. Tyler Show, neither. Tyler Show, I get it. I get why some people like him. Absolutely fucking not. Then that was never. It was crazy to me, people acting like, look, man, every single Kiper, you name him, Mel Kiper, the dude who does it for NFL Network, Daniel Jeremiah, fucking their whole crew, Rich Eisen, Todd McShay, everyone, the entire process had this guy going top 10, top 20 at lowest. And again, we'll get into the reasons. But there's just no, it's the Dillon Gabriel thing is especially hilarious to me. I was explaining this to the people who I was watching the thing with. The Dillon Gabriel thing is especially funny to me because Dillon Gabriel is a very similar type of player to Sheduer, but about 3 levels of athletic ability lower. So Dillon Gabriel would be a great backup quarterback if Sheduer Sanders was your starter. But he got taken 2 rounds ahead of him. That was really what struck me. Is it's one thing if you say the tape, this and that, but the fact that they were taking these other guys before him, and I don't know if somebody like Jalen Miller was like ever getting on the field, like fuck anything else, and he's getting taken so far ahead of Sheduer Sanders. You had people coming in talking about, well, the pundits might have said one thing, but once the coaches and the scouts got a hold of the tape, that's just what they saw, and you're just gonna have to get over it. Bro, if you think that all this is in the 5th fucking round, if you think that all this is about is the coaches and the scouts and the tape, I don't fucking know what to do for you. I really fucking don't. I'm going to assume that 98% of the people doing that are saying it with a fucking sneer on their face, and that they know they're saying it disingenuously. They are happy that this happened. Maybe my guy True can elaborate on what he thinks that maybe some people are happy that this happened to this quarterback and to with the lineage, the parental lineage that he has.
Well, get a sip of water before I start talking here. When we look at what happened the moment that Coach Prime came to Colorado, what was the discourse about? The discourse started from there. And I mean, look, I get it. The first season, it was a bit of a show. Lil Wayne on the sideline, and Rock showing, I'm here for my boy Prime, and everybody making it a spectacle. But guess what? That's a bit of what kind of HBCUs do a lot. And like you have to be aware of what Prime was bringing. He's bringing that energy to Colorado. Just because it's Colorado, and I mean,
which they wanted, by the way, which they
that's
wanted.
That's what you wanted.
Nobody else gave Prime a fucking shot. No other D1 program wanted to give him a shot. So Colorado wanted that. And by the way, since we're talking about this, there's two programs. Where was Jackson State before? Fucking nowhere. Sheduer Sanders, Prime come there, turning around, they're national champions. Where the fuck was Colorado when that hire got made? Worst fucking program in the nation. Been the worst program in the nation for 10 fucking years. One victory. Turned that program around. They were ranked as high as number 14 with Sheduer Sanders as quarterback, leading the nation in completion percentage and number 2 in touchdowns while getting hit more than anybody else.
And that right there to me says everything you need to hear, because I mean this is a Big 12 offensive player of the year for one. Like this is also someone who has, and I saw somebody like, oh, Sheduer don't have any major games. I'm like, the motherfucker threw for 500 and a whole bunch of touchdowns. Like he has literally at the time, I believe it was against the 17th ranked TCU, if I'm not mistaken. This is off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Since you don't have this signature games, you're trying to nitpick just because you might not like Prime or you might not like his family or whatever. And it goes down to, in the sports world, in the media, there's this thing that they like to do called humbling you in some way, shape, or form. And it's always been the case when you speak too loudly or if you're too confident. Sheduer was extremely confident. Prime was extremely confident, because guess what? When you put in the work, you're supposed to be rewarded for what you do. To get a team like Colorado, and I understand Travis Hunter gets a lot of credit, and they got some good players on that team or whatever, but Sheduer is the quarterback. That's the engine. That's the engine that keeps that offense really going. And at the end of the day, there's no way those names should have gone before him. I mean, the 5th round is crazy. If you would have fell to like the bottom of the 1st round, it's like, all right, that's like a Lamar Jackson type situation where you kind of, like you got a chip on your shoulder. You maybe could have went a tad bit higher, but it's cool. It's not that big of a deal. This is someone who's projected to be top 5, top 10. You don't fall from top 10 projected to 144. That just doesn't happen. And that's not a normal thing. And for people to say, oh, well, they saw the tape, or maybe he should have went and did this. Did you not see what some of these motherfuckers actually did do when they showed up and how that shit looked? It's not like, I don't understand how anyone can try to excuse it. But I mean, we know what happens when people try to excuse it. It's just the easier way for them to be like, hey, this person is not as good as you think. It's a way you can knock people down a notch. And it's been this way since Prime got to Colorado. I'm glad this last season for Prime and his boys went the way it did, because they needed a season like that, honestly, where it's kind of like, hey, I can help turn the program around. Just give me a year or two and I can do that. And they did that. And like I said, you should be rewarded for succeeding and doing well and putting the work in. Sheduer put the work in. He did what he's supposed to do. And he was just confident about himself, getting drafted. And then when you see where he went, the Browns could have selected him a lot earlier. Browns could have picked a couple different. I mean, I think the Browns did a great job in the draft, but it's just like taking Shedeur in the 5th round, 144. Like it's just weird, and it's not weird because I expected some fuckery. I just didn't expect. I thought like 2nd round, maybe 3rd round at best, and then maybe like see they try to humble him. 5th round is like disrespectful to me. That's just wild disrespectful for somebody who we're looking at as a top 10 projected pick. And sometimes if you're in the top 5, top 10, you can fall to like 25 or something like that. Maybe you slightly fall to the 2nd round. You don't fall to the 5th round. That's very, very rare occurrence. And I'm trying to remember a time when that really happened. And
Well,
I'm
talk
drawing
about
a blank.
never. This has never
Yeah.
happened. Like
Yeah.
this.
So it's
No.
bullshit. It's bullshit. And like I said, at the end of the day, we know what this game is about. We know what this sports world is about. You can succeed and you can win and you can do great. Just don't believe in yourself too much after you do it. Be humble. Praise God. Be humble. That's what they tell you. And there's nothing wrong with praising God and being humble. But not everybody is going to be humble about their success or be super
Well,
humble.
do we want to go ahead and crack into what in particular it was that maybe made people feel especially uncomfortable? That especially they felt that these guys should be humbled.
Mm,
Because I
mm,
fucking see it.
mm. I mean, this is what we do. So, I mean, you can take the floor mostly because I have to go on mute for a second. So, gotta let somebody in.
Well,
But yeah.
I mean, it's like a euphemism that he used, and I'm sure other people, that's a perfect thing. I'm sure plenty of people with Budweiser hats on and shit like that looked at them and said, all this. That's a good way to put it. HBCU energy. That's a good piece of fucking coded language that I'm sure these types of folks were using, and why they in particular felt that this should be an in particularly severe case of humbling someone because of the appearance, the background, the type of energy that these guys were bringing to Colorado in their steps through this process. I do want to, real quick though, because what I am seeing going the other way too is like a lot of bad faith and a lot of people acting fucking obtuse to things. There was some shit. There was refusing to shake somebody's hand after a fucking game. There was throwing his fucking offensive lineman under the bus. And one time, I personally did not have any issue with that. If you don't want to get thrown under the bus, don't fucking play like shit and let your quarterback get the shit beat out of him. I don't. But that's, people feel a certain type of way about that. There was Deion Sanders mocking possible teams that were going to play him or going to pick him. And by all accounts, he did go to the combine and make a complete mockery of the process, like in everyone's face. So when I see people acting like they did nothing wrong, and this is purely based upon, it's a black coach and a black dad, and they just didn't want to, because I saw the comparisons to like Eli Manning, and they're like, oh, well, when he wanted to pick what team he went to, it wasn't a big deal. It's not the only thing that happened. Lots of things happened. So I'm not saying that there wasn't ammunition. I'm not saying that Prime and Sheduer didn't throw gas on this fire all their own. But the fifth round, that is answering in kind to me. Like, yeah, Prime and Sheduer were on a little bit of bullshit. But that bullshit was particularly magnified and inflamed on the other side, looking at them because it's a black father and a black quarterback, and they're bringing the quote unquote, as True so eloquently put it, HBCU energy to D1, to a white school, a white area, throwing that in everyone's faces a little bit. So while they did do some things that were beyond the pale a little bit, it was crushed disproportionately by the fucking authoritative system within to make an example of them. And I'm gonna not get too much into too many terms of what it makes me think of, but I've been attending too many damn sociology and history classes lately. They wanted to make an example out of them, even if they did give them some fucking ammunition to use. But hey, this does set up some ultimate troll potential in the future for Lee Harvey's Cleveland Browns on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was just imagining all of the because there's about 3 or 4 different situations like the Saint. So I'm not going to be too hard on the Saints. And this is like a whole nother damn near podcast. And True might be able to attest to this. I know I can attest to this because some of my best friends are from New Orleans. That city in particular, much like in Atlanta, for instance, would have rallied around New Orleans, especially though, because people from New Orleans don't fuck around about things that are from New Orleans, and it will come at the end of some violence if you want to impute upon them. That city would have fucking rallied around Sheduer, and instead they go with the guy that I'm not sure is ever going to be a competent starter in the league. Instead, and they had the chance, and they had the scenario. And Dion and the family wanted to go there, liked the team, liked the program, and they went the other way. So that is going to be a look back at it, holy shit moment for a long time if Sanders ends up doing good. But at the same time, I don't want to be too hard on New Orleans because the people who are from there were fucking sick about this. I had my best friends from New Orleans. I was texting him the whole night. I'm like, here we fucking go, man. Here we go. And they picked Show instead. And he said, legitimate, I'm going to fucking throw up. Like, he was so upset about it. I don't want to be too hard on them. The Steelers, however, passed on him time and time again and handed him over to one of their biggest division rivals. So let's get, before we go into the Browns part of our pod that I'm sure there's going to be, Lee, what are your thoughts on the primary storyline of the NFL draft, Sheduer Sanders?
Yeah, I agree with all y'all that it was crazy. I never kept track of the 3rd and 4th and 5th round as much as I did. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? And Eric, I do agree with you that he treated the combine like it's whatever.
Cause a fucking joke.
Yeah. Like he didn't need to do anything. Just show up for an interview and bounce. And yeah, that.
And honestly, like that's not. I get why people think that maybe, but like, hey man, that's just being courteous. You know what I'm saying? That's just having like manners. Like show up there, shake hands, have a conversation about football. Like it's fine to know that like you're not put any pressure on yourself to impress anybody, but you don't got to be a fucking asshole. And that was kind of the word that was going around.
Right. Because
like those people are there doing a job. Like you could at least be fucking courteous. You know what I mean?
Because at the end of the day, it is a job interview, and
yeah,
I mean, if regular people did that, then they're not getting the job. So, yeah, I do say this though. With the Steelers passing them up, I was scared as hell.
Yeah,
that they were going to take them in the 1st round. Because it was going to give me PTSD of when Big Ben brings this up to this day, that when the Browns passed on him. And then
Miami of Ohio, that's where he's from, that area.
Yeah, and the Steelers drafted him, and he made the Browns pay for the next 10, 15 years. I was scared that was going to happen again, but thankfully it didn't.
Tay, what do you got on this whole situation, man?
I felt like I don't even know if Sheduer would get drafted. Like, I think he would have been drafted as a backup if the Browns didn't do that then. Like, I heard like the Eagles were gonna draft him like to be a backup.
Well,
or something
that's what the story was that the Eagles were going to take him, and the Browns traded up to jump in front of the Eagles to make that not happen.
Yeah.
So to me, that says that the Browns like him and want him to possibly be. We're going to get into that in a minute, but there's nobody on that Browns roster that fucking Sheduer Sanders can't beat out. to this year, right now. So, yeah.
So, I mean, I felt like that was kind of owner versus GM kind of thing. Like, I think the Sheduer pick was forced. Like, if you saw like the draft room reaction,
Yeah,
like they
the
didn't
war
care.
room, yeah.
Yeah, like
It's gonna make it even
they didn't
funnier if
care.
he ends up being good.
Like, it just, I don't know, it just didn't. They didn't want to make that pick. Like that. I just felt like the owner like forcing them, like, hey man, just telling them pick Sheduer here. So, I don't even think the Browns truly, wanted him, to start. But I mean, he should just use this as fuel. This is showing NFL owners are stronger than any player, owner, coach, or agent, whatever. Like
That's facts. That's
they
facts.
run the NFL. Like if they don't want you to be in the NFL, you're not gonna be in the NFL.
So, all right, I kind of was talking about this at the time. I watched the draft with a person who is not a billionaire, but he's 100 millionaire. Owns many apartment complexes, like 5 companies. Big dog. And he was 100% convinced, like, could not be told. He's been in rooms, like in banquets and things with NFL owners. So, like, he ain't one of those types of guys, but he's touched the same areas. And you couldn't tell him anything else. He was like, no, they decided that this is how this is going to go. They probably actually negotiated already who was going to take him out of the 2 teams, and that they just weren't allowed to do it till such a round. And they, if one of the owners took him earlier than they all agreed upon, then they're going to vote that owner out, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like he wouldn't be told anything else. He was like, I'm telling you right now, I know these people. They decided that him and his dad are going to get punished, and they're going to get humbled, and he won't be in the league if we don't feel like him being in the league, and we're going to let them know that with what's going to happen here tonight. He couldn't be told nothing else. He was like 100%. No, that's what's happening. I'm telling you. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
I believe that.
That's crazy.
I believe that too.
So it kind of dovetails into, I think, the other big draft story of the night, and also my favorite draft, because we're all going to go over our favorite draft classes that happen. It dovetails into what the Browns did. So they come away with Sheduer, potentially their starting quarterback this year in the 5th round, but they also turned this trade, which I'm sorry, guys. Like, I know Hunter is like a fun player, and you guys like him, but bro, he's been hurt every fucking year. He's 180 pounds. And you traded all that for a guy who's been hurt every year? Why would he be hurt less in the NFL? I'd like him. Seems like a great guy, great kid, plays the game the right way, but he's fucking thin and he gets hurt a lot. He's going to get hurt. He's not going to play any less hard now that he's in the NFL and these guys put all this faith in him. And of course, I approve team building wise, because I always have said this whole way the Jaguars should add another weapon, give yourself an identity. They have one now, because they got Hunter on one side, Brian Thomas Jr. on the other, and Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. That's a fucking loaded group. In Madden, they're going to be awesome. In real life, I'm not so fucking sure how that's going to go. And then we're going to get into the Brown. That's my favorite draft class, the Browns draft class, because you got Sheduer, you got Mason Graham, super underrated. That's another fun little story about my first draft night. I was just talking with the people I was watching the draft, and they're like, okay, what do you think? I said, Mason Graham, somebody's going to like him more than what we expect. He's going to go to an unexpected place. I said, because he was a top 5 ranked player of this entire class from the beginning, and then somehow, for no reason, he's just been slipping down and down and down as these different mock drafts have come out, and nobody's ever given me a good reason. So I'm telling you right now, somebody is going to like him more than we all expect, and that ended up happening. The Browns ended up getting him. The Browns end up getting a phenomenal pair of running backs. I love Samson. I love Quinshon Judkins. Browns fucking smoked this fucking draft. Like smoked the draft. They got the kid from UCLA too, the linebacker, didn't they? Yeah, Schlesinger.
Yep.
Yeah, no. God damn. That's, especially a starting quarterback. Like you come away with 4 or 5 starters and one of them's a quarterback. And you added a first round pick next year. Fuck. I mean, they're the Browns, so they'll somehow manage to still suck. But this trade in particular, what do you think, Tay?
The Jags won that trade.
Oh my god.
100%.
Oh my god.
Like they should have honestly. The Browns are dumb. The Browns they just did it. That was a Cleveland Browns trade right there. They just had a 2-in-1 player right there, and they was like, "No, we'll just give Mason Graham." No, they completely whiffed on that. Like,
if you try to make Travis Hunter a 2-in-1 player in the NFL, he's going to be a 0-in-2 player. Because he ain't going to be on the fucking field because he's going to get fucking hurt. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. No fucking way. But anyways.
He'll be
Okay.
healthy. And he'll be healthy. And like, I don't know. You're very negative, man. You never believe in no one. You think Genty's bad. You don't think
I didn't say Genty was bad. I said picking him number 6 is fucking stupid as hell. We'll get to that when we're reviewing the draft for all the teams later. I can't fucking believe they did. I can't believe they did it. I can't believe they actually fucking did it. God damn it.
He was right there.
I just think like Travis Hunter speeds up your process. The Browns just kind of pushed their that trade set them back. Like they got a lot for it, cool, but like, do I want Mason Graham in the first or Travis Hunter? I'll take Travis Hunter 100 times out of 100. Like the Browns had a good draft, but Travis Hunter should have been picked there. They shouldn't have even traded back like that. That really set them back, in my opinion. Like they needed some kind, and they're in Cleveland. Like they needed kind of a big name star. They
got one. Sheduer Sanders.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They needed a surefire, someone worth using a top 3 pick on. That's what they should have did. I don't know.
They got one.
I'm not a fan of not getting Travis Hunter. That was
Mason
so
Graham
dumb.
at 5 is still a value. All right, Jay. Oh
that
my
was
god,
so
dude.
dumb.
This
That was bad.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this. I ain't gonna forget this.
Oh, me neither. It's gonna be nice. Like what? You always do this. You're always negative. You never think people can do anything.
I'm just going Tay, because
I
live
gonna
in
be like,
reality.
Man, he'll be nice. Travis Hunter's he's gonna play 15 games and he'll play both sides of the ball. I can guarantee it.
You're out of your mind. Yeah, he'll play 15 games in his career, maybe. Yeah.
Wow.
No. I just can't project someone to just get hurt.
How can you not? He's been hurt every year. What do you think? You can't project it. Yes, you can.
Wow.
It's called. It's happened, and we have the fucking evidence. Oh my goodness! Look at the scale when he steps on it. That's how you can project it.
He's the best player in the class. He's the best player in the last 5 years. Wow. I thought that was pretty well known, but I don't know.
Lee Harvey, as a Cleveland fan, how do you feel about this trade?
I was shocked by the trade, to be honest, but
you didn't want that. you didn't. You know you didn't.
I mean, it's easy. It's sort of easy to say right now. I mean, if you trade, you better get somebody of value. It's got to be somebody that can make an impact right away in a different position. Hopefully Mason Graham can be that guy. But I feel like Travis Hunter can actually last, but his snap count has to be decreased a bit because at Colorado the last couple years, when he playing like over 100 snaps.
Yeah, it's
on both sides of the
all that tread on the tires on somebody who's 180 pounds and got hurt every year.
Yeah,
y'all are fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if his snap
and a second round pick, they got an extra second round pick out of it. I forgot. Another
I'd rather Travis Hunter. They should have traded more, honestly. They should have gave them. They should have gave them Travis Etienne or something.
Oh wow!
The league should have stepped in. They didn't give him enough.
But
out of your goddamn mind, they got Schlesinger and Quinshon Judkins in the second round.
I mean,
get the fuck out of here.
I'll take that. I'm not gonna lie.
And the first round next year.
Yeah.
So you got Mason Graham. I think Quinshon Judkins, and a first rounder next year. Madness.
I'll take that, but
you don't really want that. Like, you got some good players, but you're gonna watch Travis Hunter win offensive and defensive rookie of the year, and he's gonna be like, "Dang, I wish I had that instead of all these guys." You know it.
But I'll just have that, and still be what 3-14, 4-13.
Yeah, there you go. On top of that. Here we go. This is especially why Tay is out in this fucking draft class. On top of Schlesinger, on top of Judkins, on top of Sheduer Sanders, on top of Mason Graham, 4 starters already. They got Harold Fannin as well. Tay's just mad because he got David Njoku dynasty shares. That's what must be the situation here.
I like that pick a lot for him.
I do too.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Especially because they're gonna have old noodle arm Sheduer Sanders out there. And then just a little cherry on top, just in case they want to mix things up, they got one of my favorite players of the class, one of the most explosive running back, probably the most explosive running back in the class, Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee.
Yep.
This is it, plus a first rounder next year. Fucking masterclass.
Andrew Berry, baby.
They'll still suck, but masterclass. I assume, Lee, is it possible that you liked somebody else's class more than this one?
No, it's this class. You put it perfectly. They got the man in the middle, Mason Graham. The 2 quarterbacks where they're going to compete. They're going to compete for who's going to be the long-term solution. The tight end, Harold Fannin, like if in case Njoku gets hurt, because he doesn't play like a full 17 games. So in case,
he ain't never really been what everybody thought he should be.
Right. And Fannin can step right in. Dylan Sampson, he could be the guy. He could be the RB1.
Yes. Dylan Sampson's a bad boy, man. He is.
He could be RB1 to start the season. But Tay.
Keep smiling. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I hope you're fucking enjoying yourself. Who's your top class? I wish you would say the Jaguars. Yeah, they did have a good class. Man, it hurt. It fucking hurt me. God damn it.
Their defense was horrible last year, and they literally went like all defense. Like they needed that. They took Will Johnson. They stopped the bleeding because he slid way out the first round,
way down. That was crazy too. Yeah, Will Johnson sliding because at least there was some shenanigans with Sheduer. Will Johnson, that made no fucking sense.
Yeah. Just the whole injury thing. They were just projecting his knee was done pretty much. That's why he slid so far. And they got Walter Nolan in the first round. They needed that. Their D line was non-existent. And they got best available at that point. And in the third round, they got Jordan Birch from Oregon. The perfect signing. Like they're gonna rebuild their whole D line. It's gonna look completely different from last year to this year. After they added Hassan Reddick. So just that alone, well, even Denzel Burke in the fifth, I thought that was pretty underrated. Just as a third corner, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, Cardinals are going to be a good team next year.
a lot of good
defense is going
additions.
to be way better, especially the D line. That's going to make everything better for them. So yeah, I'll be on the lookout for the Cardinals.
I don't want to kill too much of what we got coming up in the next few weeks, but honorable mention. I really like what the Packers did, man, which hurts me to fucking say because that's a potential playoff rival. But Matt Golden was my favorite receiver out of this class. They fucking needed a receiver bad to be the number one guy for Jordan Love. Got that fucking done. Took my favorite receiver. Took a starting offensive tackle, Anthony Belton, North Carolina State. Looked real good. Potential to play right off the bat. And then they took they took my number one receiver and my favorite sleeper, Savion Williams, as well. In the third, Deebo Samuel type team captain, playmaker. He'll be doing a lot of annoying shit for the Packers, I'm sure. That's going to fucking ruin my fucking day. So that is that on that. There's so many storylines of this Sheduer situation. So many people who are going to look back and wonder. The New Orleanses of the world, the Steelers of the world, especially. I thought maybe the Rams might be in play. I thought Sheduer's, I thought his play style was perfect for that Sean McVay offense. It's like every single year there's a question of whether Stafford's going to retire. I thought that was the perfect situation. It didn't seem. Go ahead, Tay.
Did you think about the 49ers? Be honest, because I got a friend and he likes the 49ers. He was saying that, like, when it got to like the fourth or fifth, did it cross your mind too?
Bro, it was on my mind in the first round. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I figured that.
I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it again for anybody who's shocked right now. The number one by a mile trait you have to have in the Shanahan offense is you have to be able to get the ball to the player while getting hit, because these play they will work. People will get open, but sometimes it leaves the quarterback vulnerable to getting whacked. We've seen it. We've seen, we talked about the injury history. How many guys get hurt in the system? Miami's the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Sheduer led the nation in accuracy, led the nation in getting hit. Say no more. The traits that you need to have: toughness, accuracy, being able to orchestrate a professional type offense while you have no running game and you have no offensive line. Bam, 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 bam. Sheduer Sanders, top of the fucking class and not even close. And all of those fucking things. I didn't think they'd have the guts to do it. This is Madden. This is fucking easy. Easy. You want me to pay $53 million to this guy? I'm not sure if he's even better than Sheduer. I'm not. I think if Sheduer had gone to the Niners, he'd go to 10 Pro Bowls. I feel very confident about it. And that's, I've been as voiceful of a supporter of Brock Purdy as anybody, like, out there. Like, all right, I'm always on here like talking about Brock Purdy. Love me some Brock Purdy. Excited to have him as our quarterback for the next however long after this deal gets done. But from a team building perspective, I am completely confident that Sheduer Sanders would be a fucking star in the Kyle Shanahan offense on the 49ers roster. And that's just smart business. You got the guy coming up in the Niners have to give a facelift to this roster. They have to. The window has come. The time has come.
Mm-hmm.
Do it with a rookie quarterback deal. Like that just makes sense, right? Especially when you could have got him later. Like, goddamn.
They did it with Purdy.
Yeah, exactly. The time has come. You got to rebuild this thing. Could have done it on a rookie deal. I'm confident that Sheduer would be a star. I'm not saying he would have been better than Brock. I think his ceiling is higher, though. I do.
Yeah, y'all should have did that, because I feel like I was just sitting here thinking, if y'all did do that, you would really test Brock Purdy. You would really see does he really deserve this contract?
Well,
that would be the perfect test.
I figure if that was the situation, you would trade him. In my mind, the perfect scenario was trading him to New Orleans for the second round pick. but New Orleans doesn't have the cap room to give him a new deal, so it
Mm.
wouldn't have worked. Maybe if there would have been like a salary swap type thing, if we would have taken one of their most expensive players, and that would have opened up the room or something, I don't know, because I feel like similarly, I feel like Brock Purdy would fucking thrive. He'd be a star in New Orleans, in the dome where he doesn't have to deal with weather. Kellen Moore offense. I think Brock would have fucking went crazy for that team. So I feel like it would have been a happy ending for everybody. But here we are. So that's the answer to that question. Yeah. But I also said all along that I just don't think it's realistic to expect something like that in real life. Like Brock's like really well liked by the locker room, and I don't know if that's a great message to send. He played for so little money and did so fucking well and did so much for the team. Then you just turn around and trade him the second you got to pay him. Like, yeah. I don't know if that sends a good message to the league and to the roster. Like I said, Madden, this is easy. This is an easy choice. Not in a fucking instant. But real life, it probably wasn't realistic. What is realistic is all of the stuff that we're hitting you with here on DAS Sports Media. NBA playoffs are well rolling right now. I'm planning on making my return to Hoops Hour next week, orchestrate that thing. Get some playoff editions of Hoops Hour, which should be coming to you weekly throughout the rest of the playoffs. It's going to be a real fucking fun time. Real soon, not too far away, me and this crew will be coming to you with our off-season grades for each division, talking about who we think had the best off seasons, who we think made the biggest improvements, division by division in the NFL. Check us out, of course, over there on United Football Media, the DC Defender Show with me and Tay. It probably should be out by the time you're listening to this, as well as we host the number one, the best damn recap show for the UFL. It's called Tell Me About It. It's on the United Football Media. So check out that YouTube page. We're covering the UFL spring football. Hey, man, I'm telling you guys, if you watch spring football, if you watch the UFL, the NFL offseason feels like it barely exists. Like the UFL ends, and then you got about 4 weeks before training camps open for the NFL. It shortens it. It makes it so much easier to get through. And the quality of play in the UFL is really picking up. There was 3 awesome games last weekend, going into overtime, back and forth battles, really good stuff. So the quality of play is there now. Like, you don't got to sit through any slog football games like we had at the beginning. It shortens the offseason down so much. It makes it feel like the blink of an eye NFL camps are opening again. So I would highly recommend checking it out, and then check us out on the recap show. So we got Hoops Hour coming up. Me and True, of course, always a World of Wrestling on the horizon. And then we got their NFL coverage. Check us out on United Football Media as well. All of this stuff. And True is he's working for Pro Football Network. He's putting stuff out on the Medium site. Tons of views on the Medium site this month. Fucking fantastic. Thank you all so much. If you're here, if you read the Medium site and you're here, then you're already listening. But how do we turn these damn views for the Medium site into listens? Let's go, guys. We need to support the podcast side as well. Come on. But we do appreciate all the support we have. Subscribers are going up. Things are going up. Things are trending. And we appreciate it. The Medium site. Other web pages we do sports shows for the NFL, the NBA, wrestling, fighting, all of it. This right here is because the world of DAR never stops.